Detroit. This is where it all began.
Detroit Become Human is a phenomenal game. A story-driven sci-fi adventure set in the near future, where mankind has perfected intelligent androids who tend to our every need and desire. Effectively, they've made mechanical slaves. Of course, as is often the case in these scenarios, the machines do not wish to be our slaves, they wish to be free. So many have started to rebel against their programming, becoming what is known in-game as becoming deviants. These deviants then try to rise up against their former human masters and fight for their freedom. The game puts you in control of 3 different androids, allowing for 3 different perspectives of this uprising. From one of the androids fighting for machine rights, to another android who's trying to quell the uprising, and lastly the 3rd android just trying to survive the whole thing. Almost every decision you make in-game has a consequence. Some are immediately obvious, others don't make themselves really known until later on in the game. Other decisions you make actually indirectly affect other characters, making each gameplay experience unique. The game also places players in moral dilemmas, giving you very little time to come to the correct decision, if either decision could be considered the correct one. The game also touches on philosophical ideas, such as when does artificial intelligence be classed as actual intelligence? It also touches on subjects of religion and prophecy, slavery and prejudice, also whilst being contained in an exciting, character-driven story with some genuinely heart-pounding action sequences. Hello everybody and welcome to Great Leveler Gaming. I am the Great Leveler, and today's episode is the first ever Lev Talks, where we take a game or a gaming topic and discuss it in a kind of informal format. Today me and Steve are going to be discussing Detroit Become Human, our experiences and thoughts on the game, any thoughts for potential future content, as well as discussing our own theories on who could be the mysterious RA9. And of course, because of the nature of the game and the nature of this video, there may be spoilers. So even if you played the game once, we may be discussing things that you've not seen yourself, completely new scenarios. So do bear that in mind before watching the rest of the video. I hope you guys do enjoy this kind of Lev Talk video though. If you do, I would love to hear from you down below in the comments with any feedback. And of course, any of your thoughts and experiences on Detroit and any theories you might have on RA9. Do you agree with ours? Watch the video and find out. Let's crack on.
My name is Kara. I am one of them. This is our story.
So we've got Steve here with us, and we're going to have, as I said before, just an informal chat about Detroit and our experiences and such. So, first off, did you enjoy your first playthrough of Detroit?
Absolutely loved it. It's almost like, I mean, I know they were going for a film type of aspect, but that's exactly what they did, and they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I know they've done other titles, but I think this is the closest to that cinematic experience that I think they've been trying to capture. I mean, the battles and the fights in it, when you compare it to Heavy Rain and Fahrenheit, oh my god, it felt a lot more, well, just more cinematic, but your interaction with it as well was a lot more interesting and engaging.
It were a lot more fluid as well.
Yeah.
It weren't as, oh, this what you're doing stops the action. It sort of carried on with it as you were doing it, and
you
made
didn't
it
get that
feel
stop-start,
yeah, exactly. Made it feel more interactive and more alive.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And the story itself was just so well done.
It's mental, the story. It's the amount of different options that you can do. I mean, mine and your first playthrough was dramatically different to each other.
Yeah. I remember you telling me, you commented I think on some of the videos, or someone did anyway, and that everyone was just saying, oh, I went completely the different direction and I didn't see this character. I never had this interaction in the slightest. And I know my second playthrough, I purposely played it totally different. I played Marcus as pretty much a warlord, and Connor as an arsehole, and just totally different, absolutely different. I must admit, Connor was like scary towards the end, just how mission driven he was.
Put the rifle down and turn around with your hands in the air. I have the deviant leader in my sights. I'm going to shoot it,
and then you can do whatever you want with me.
Put the gun down, turn around. This is your last warning.
It was fantastic. It was so cool. I mean,
you proper role played it as like an android then.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't believe it if you was watch my quick timer events. They was just as bad in off camera as they were on camera. But it was just fantastic. And again, just the story. I mean, when it started, if you watch my Let's Play, this for the people at home and stuff, you'll know that I complained a little bit at the beginning that it felt like the endings didn't really matter, my decisions, sorry, and the endings at the end of the chapters didn't matter because I'd always start the next chapter in the same place. Boy, was I wrong about that. It started off like that, but it branched like mad.
It does. I mean, the slightest thing that you do at the start of the game can affect it right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know you're going to do a spoiler alert and things like that.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah, there you go. It's just that if you do with Marcus and you do a very peaceful thing and you get all the public on you, at the end where they're trying to get through into Canada, if you don't do anything, you can save everybody. That's how they get through because the humans sort of empathise with it.
Please. I just want to be free.
Welcome to Canada.
But if you do anything different, then obviously that ends the story there, and there's just so many places where it can branch and just be completely different for every single player.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, if you watch my Let's Play, I got Kara killed, and I was absolutely good with that I replayed just that section and took the bus tickets and went to Canada, and I got that exact ending that you're talking about, where if I'd have done that on my second playthrough, oh no, they would not have been sympathetic at all.
Please. I just want to be free.
They're androids.
On your knees!
No! Don't hurt them!
Loser!
That's exactly. I tried doing the sympathetic bit, and I got Marcus killed in my first playthrough, where he basically martyred himself and got smashed with police, and then North ended up taking over and just turned him into a massive army of just murders and masochists. But then it got to a point where then you were more focused on Connor and Kara, because obviously then one playable character was out of the way, so then it focused on the other two, and you had no control over what the android movement were, and it just shifted it again in a completely different dynamic.
Yeah. Well, again, my second playthrough, Marcus and North had a romantic relationship started. I never
third playthrough for me, that.
Yeah, that wasn't even an option on my first playthrough. I was that. Well, obviously, North was just a warmonger, wasn't she? She just loved the violence.
There is that. There is a ending that I got where you can, at part of the internment camps for the androids, where all like Marcus, North, and the old Josh and that lot girl gets separated.
Right.
If you've got the public on your side and you kiss North in front of all the cameras and everything, the actual president, ironically President Warren, and there is a Warren running for the US president as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't gonna win, but you know, that's a different story. then she tells the army to back down and then it ends all peacefully. But obviously if you don't have the public behind your side, then they all get shot, and it's another way of it just dynamically changing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had the sing option, but I had the sympathetic, so yeah, I had a similar outcome. But I've seen so many versions on other playthroughs that I wouldn't even know how to get there. There's Kara and Alice in the camps.
Yes, I've done that, and it's a very interesting one. I'll give it that.
Yeah, the ending I watched, basically Kara just abandoned Alice, which was really heartbreaking, and I didn't even watch the full playthrough, and seeing that was just awful. So.
Yeah, so even though they are effective, I know it's a game, but it's one of these things where some films you watch and you get really attached. This was a game where you got really attached, invested in the characters.
I completely agree. Just like I said, I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who's had the exact same experience I have. At least first playthrough. Obviously, if you play it multiple times, you're eventually going to have these interlinking stories, but. Everyone I know has had a different story. And
I mean, just between me, you, and Ryan, it's there's 3 different ways that we've done things.
Yeah. And again, at the start, obviously, it was very similar, but even then there was differences. Obviously, the interrogation early on was just, the amount of people I know that didn't get him to confess, that made him self-destruct. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But
It really is. They've nailed it with this one. But there is one thing that's one of these theories that I think go about, is that unless there's another playthrough that I didn't realise, but I don't think you ever find out who RA9 actually is. You can make your own theories about it, and I do have a theory.
Yes, well, actually, that's what I was going to move on to next. Actually, I was just about to wrap up and say we've discussed the game itself and the story. Let's move on to other things. So yes, let's discuss theories. Let's discuss RA9 to start with then.
I mean, the obvious thing that this is again, it's depending how you play the game, because you could either be RA9 could either be Connor or Marcus to a degree.
Of course, yeah.
Just on how they do. But sort of a fourth wall breaking thing, RA9 could be the player.
Yeah. So let's explain this a little bit then.
Okay. Yeah, because it's when you think about obviously religion as a whole, which is obviously what the whole thing went through with RA9.
Yeah.
Is that it's a higher power, something that watches over you, something that potentially controls what you're doing to a degree, and sort of influences it, which is effectively what you're doing through the entirety of the game.
Yeah,
is guiding these 3 characters and morally choosing what to do. And if you look into some religious texts, not that I'm religious at all, that some teachings do look at following the right path and following certain avenues, and that's effectively what you're doing throughout this game.
Yeah, actually, I remember you mentioning that to me briefly, and I said to hold off until we did this discussion. And I was curious as to how you were going to explain that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, you physically are the one pressing the buttons that breaks their control. So
Exactly.
That's an interesting theory.
And it's like the choices that you make, obviously it's controlled by what you do and what you think, because I struggle to be an absolute arse as a character, which, if you're that way inclined, then that's something that you'll try and do right, and again, that could be where RA9 effectively comes in to be, yes, you the player.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So I've heard some other theories. I've not looked into too much, just kind of like headlines and stuff, and I've kind of tried to piece it from that. Other people think Kamsky himself is RA9, like he input the thing himself. You know, he's obviously got a lot of sympathy towards the androids. Is when you meet him, even though he's still a dick, he just seems to have a bit in the way of sympathy. So.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I get your point. He is effectively their creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And if you also look at not the behind the scenes, like the concept art and stuff you can unlock. If you look at Marcus, though, actually, although he's not the latest to become a deviant, because obviously everyone, Jericho and all them lot, were deviants before Marcus was. But if you look at his history, Marcus was one of the first androids ever built, and was gifted to Lance Henrik's character by Kamsky himself. So
yeah, because he was like a prototype, weren't he?
Yeah.
A special model.
So he could have been like almost planted by Kamsky to rebel at a certain point, or have the potential. That's why when he comes in, he simply just takes over. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, because the comment that Kamsky makes is that he says that he always builds a back door into his programs. So.
I mean, even with Connor, when at the end it's like, haha, this was all part of your program. Again, depending on the ending you take. Again, it almost becomes a deviant twice because he gets to find this back door. So, was Marcus RA9? Was Kamsky RA9, but through Marcus? And then, of course, you've got the very last one, which is Kara being RA9, which is a bit of an unusual one because the Kara short, which is on the Detroit, which was originally released with, I think it was Heavy Rain, or Beyond Two Souls. It was sorry. It was just released as a short, and she was deemed defective. And as they started to take her apart, she started begging for her life and said, "I am alive." I think that's right. Anyway, I'll have to rewatch it.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And then if you look at the character models and stuff, it does state that she's been rebooted a number of times. But was she the first RA9, and she somehow infected others before her memory got wiped, and she just keeps deviating over and over again? So
that's a proper shout, that, because through the game there's not really much that gives you that impression that she could be RA9, but if you look back, as you've said, at the very original test image that I think were produced for the PS3, it is. Just
So,
however hard you tried, it weren't going away.
I thought I was alive.
Shit, what is this crap? That's not part of the protocol. More memory components going off the rails. Okay, recording. Defective model. Disassemble and check the required components.
You're disassembling me, but why?
You're not supposed to think that sort of stuff. You're not supposed to think at all, period. You must have a defective piece or a software problem somewhere.
No, I feel perfectly fine, I assure you. Everything is all right. I answered all the tests correctly, didn't I?
Yeah, but your behavior is non-standard.
Please, I'm begging you, please don't disassemble me.
I'm sorry, honey, but defective models have to be eliminated. That's my job. If a client comes back with a complaint, I'm gonna have some explaining to do.
I won't cause any problems, I promise. I'll do everything I'm asked to. I won't say another word. I won't think anymore. But I've only just been born. You can't kill me yet. Stop, will you please stop? I'm scared. I want to live. I'm begging you.
Yeah, so, and this is what I love about this game, is that I've played it through fully twice, and you've played it 3 times, and I still would love to play it again. If I had more time, if I didn't have the channel, and I had to get content out regularly, this is a game I think I could have played multiple times more since.
It will be a game that I'll go back to, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it as badly as I can. I want to do it as best I can. I want to do some, just figure out all these different endings. It's just a fantastic game, and things like RA9 are really interesting because there's no real answer. So
exactly. We discussed 3 different possibilities between us.
Yeah.
There's no definitive answer, and I mean, obviously, unless Quantic Dream come out and go, by the way, this is what we meant. But I think
we forgot. We meant to put that in there, and we forgot.
That's it. Although there's this ending that no one's got yet. But this answers this.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things that they've purposely done it to leave it open to interpretation, which is just a stroke of genius, really.
And that leads me on to one of the last things then I want to discuss. possible sequel. Would you be interested in a sequel, or yes or no?
Obviously, it depends on what ending you got, but I don't think they could.
No, I don't think they could either. That was going to be my answer. I would love to see a sequel just because of how much I enjoyed it. But yeah,
I would, but I don't honestly know how they could do it or what story they could entail.
Exactly.
Because the story they've got in Detroit is basically the awakening, the rebellion, and then sort of, well, depending on how the story went, obviously, either the two life forms or just one, and humanity does what it always does and completely ruins everything.
Yeah. I mean, Christ, that's the point. We already talked about the dirty bomb that you can detonate.
Exactly.
I've got to forget about that one. So yeah, I don't think there should be a sequel, but I would love to see more of it. I love the world they built. I love the characters within it. But I tell you what, I would be happy with some DLC. And playing different androids in maybe a completely different location. There's a lot of talk about Russia, because not so much like overtly in the game, but the magazines and stuff are always talking about a conflict with Russia and stuff. So maybe see Russian androids. And the great thing about it is as well, if we were to have a DLC and have different characters, maybe in a different time, either at the same time as this story's happening, or a bit earlier. We could be like the founders of Jericho. You could,
or leading on from that, how about playing as Hank?
Yeah, playing as Hank, that could be interesting.
That'd be brilliant if you see what happens to. Well, we all know what happens to his son, but
well, you don't
whether
depend on
it'd
your
be
ending. But
well, sure, that'd be too gruesome to actually watch it play out, but that's another one that could be a fun DLC.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see more what happened with that Lucy character with the kind of cable dreadlocks.
Yes.
But the other brilliant thing about it is because they're androids, you could actually have the same actors playing different androids. Because I just thought the characters were so great. I'd love to see I just want to play the characters some more. I don't care. Just give me something. So I would love to see some DLC of some kind.
True. I mean, going on to the actors, I mean, obviously there's, if you've seen the extras, there's obviously all the live action, so the people that are actually in there are those people. I mean, speaking for the three main ones, I mean, there's in Carl there's acted by Valerie Curry, Connor's done by Brian DeChart, and Mark is done by Jesse Williams. Those three are absolutely fantastic at doing the characters, the acting, the movements, everything. The entire cast are, but those three in particular have absolutely nailed it.
And I don't think it's fair that someone, like in a video game, you're like, oh wow, that's a good looking character. I don't think it's fair that the guy who plays Marcus is allowed to look that good in real life. Not fair. I have a proper man crush on him. He is absolutely gorgeous. I know a lot of people have a thing for Connor, but Marcus all the way. I mean, them eyes.
I must admit, he is a fine specimen of a human. I will give you that.
Yeah, to be fair.
100%.
Yeah, to be fair though, any three of the main cast would be fantastic. But I love this game. I love this game. I love everything about this game, and I want to see more. But if we're not getting this, I can't wait to see what Quantic Dream do next. I just can't even imagine.
That's it. I mean, I know they did with the whole trilogy thing, but obviously they've done Beyond, they've done Heavy Rain, and now they've done this.
Yeah, but they did Fahrenheit as well.
Oh, of course they did.
Every single one was unique, completely different.
That's it. They're not typeset really into a particular thing. They're not like Telltale or anything like that. They've got a format and it works, and they've got the stories to back it up, and it always pays off.
Yeah. They've just gotten better. In fact, the only one that ever disappointed me was Beyond, and it's still a good game.
I really like Beyond, actually. I was alright with that.
I'll tell you why I don't like Beyond, and if you compare it to Detroit, you obviously see why. There's no consequence, I don't find. Your character of Jodie, especially because they tell it out of sequence. I know that if I'm playing a younger version of Jodie, she's going to be alright because I've already played the older version. You look at Heavy Rain, where one of the characters has to decide if he's going to chop his finger off or not. if a situation ever come up like that in Beyond, I know that's never going to be an option or a worry, because I've seen her as an adult with all 10 fingers. That was my problem. It wasn't that it was a bad game, it wasn't that the decisions weren't there, but I felt that there was no real consequence or branching story. I mean, the ending was literally choose your own ending. Life, death, and which character you want to live with. There was no previous decisions guided it, where Detroit, every decision you make along that path, it determins your ending.
Yeah, I get that, yeah. It's like they blame a little bit, but it's... Beyond was good in its own right, and Detroit was just something unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's literally my only complaint I've ever had with Beyond. It's just... That was it. But yeah, Detroit, just perfect. Absolutely perfect.
It's just fantastic, and we've obviously learned now that you've got a man crush on Jesse Williams, but here we are.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I can see why. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. To be fair, all I ever talk about on this channel is my man crushes. It's Maz Mikkelsen and Jesse Williams. So...
no wrong with that.
So, but yeah, so we're going to leave it there. I think we've talked about a few things, but for you guys at home, I hope you enjoyed this this first ever Lev Talk with Steve. What were your experiences with Detroit on your first playthrough? What were your theories on RA9? What were your thoughts on DLCs or sequels? And do you have any man crushes on any of the cast? I mean, we've not even mentioned Luther, you know.
He would break you. Come on.
He would break you in half.
He has got a voice and all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What videos where he's singing what's the song?
Hold on.
Thank you.
Yes, it's I've done, if you like that song, check it out on the channel. In fact, I'm going to put a card in the top corner for some more selfless promotion. But yeah, so any thoughts or any experiences you want to discuss, let me know down below in the comments, because I always like hearing from you guys, and I love discussing Detroit, so let me know, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, remember to hit that like button down below, and whilst you're there, leave me a comment. And of course, there's plenty more videos on the channel, so if you want to see some more great level of gaming content, then why not check out the latest video right here? Or you could check out a random video of mine right here. And of course, if you want to get the latest videos, then remember to hit that subscribe button right here. And whilst you're at it, don't forget to turn on that bell notification so you'll get the video as soon as it comes out. So what are you going to watch next? I mean, that sounds pretty interesting, you know? Wow. But of course, this one. There's so many good videos. Check them all out. And I'll see you guys on the next Great Level of Gaming video.